Hi everyone, Amber here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 2 of my Bambi's Birthday Bash series here on YouTube. This is a 7-day series that I have on my channel leading up to my birthday. Every day there is a new paper crafting video or tutorial, so if you missed yesterday's video, I'll be sure to leave that linked down below so that you can check it out. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these super cute heart-shaped memory Dex boxes. So here is one I made using a cut file I created on my Cricut machine. I used Shara's tutorial on how to weld images together, so I'll be sure to leave her link down below so you can check that out if you want to go this route. But I know a lot of my followers don't have a cutting machine, so I'm going to show you how to make one without it. So you're going to need some hearts. My hearts at the widest point up at the top there measure 5 inches, and in the middle they measure 4 1/4 inch. And I have some cardstock, some heavyweight cardstock that I cut 2 hearts out of and 2 memory Dex inserts out of. And then I have some paper to cover the back and the front of that, and some paper to create the heart that is going to go on top. So hopefully all of that made sense. I will leave all of the measurements and the pieces down below in the description box so you can follow along easier. But basically you just want to make sure that your heart is big enough to allow the box I created to hide inside of it so that you don't see it from the front or back when looking at the memory Dex card. So I did use my Cricut to cut these pieces out, but you can totally freehand it or use a template. If you can freehand it, I am super jealous. But yes, you can use a template. You can print out a heart, trace it, cut it out, and just repeat that for all of the pieces that you will need. If you have dies, that would be a great way to go. And just create the little memory Dex insert. So here I am just using my heavyweight cardstock pieces to create the base. This is optional. I just think it makes the whole memory Dex card sturdier. So that is why I'm opting to do this. And here is when I glued the heart on backwards. So I just pulled it off. I am using a glue stick to temporarily glue this together. The glue stick would not hold for a long time, so I recommend using something stronger, but I am going to stitch on the base of my card, so I'm just using a little bit of glue to kind of hold everything in place so that I can do that. So now that I have my insert and my heart glued together, I'm going to add the paper bits to the front and the back. So I used a shortened memory Dex card. This was a template that was taller, so I think it was 4 1/4 inch by 4 inches, and I just shortened it so that it was about 3 1/2 inches across, and then about 1 inch in height. I just think that this helps the heart really stand out. So just gluing the top down, and then I'll move on to the bottom. I like to use my scoring tool, as you all might know if you follow my videos, to make sure everything is adhered nicely down into place. So just adding the back here now. I am using the Chasing Dreams collection from Maggie Holmes. My friend Michelle was super kind enough to get me some of that when it was all at Tuesday morning, and she was super nice to mail it all to me, and I haven't used it too much, so I thought that this would be the perfect project to do that. So now once I have my base itself done, I'm going to move on to the heart that will be on the front of the box. So that is just taking 2 hearts and gluing them back to back. If you have double-sided paper, you can skip this step, although I do think gluing 2 pieces back to back makes it thicker and sturdier, so it's kind of up to you how you want to go about it. But I'm just making sure everything lines up nicely. Unfortunately, the heart shape that the Cricut offers is not completely symmetrical, so you can't like flip it back to back and have it match up. So I have to be real careful about how I cut those out. So now I'm going to show you how to make the box. For the box, you need a piece of paper that measures 5 inches by 4 inches. On the 5-inch side, you're going to score at 1 inch and 4 inch. Again, all the measurements are in the description box. And on the 4-inch side, you are going to score it at 1.5 inches and 2.5 inches. So the scoring is super simple, and this is going to give us a template to make the little box. So if you are making a smaller or larger memory dex card, you can totally take this template design I came up with and alter the measurements to work for you. I just like this size. I think it's perfect to add some little treats or goodies too. So now I'm just folding up on all of my score lines, and then I am going to show you what it's kind of going to look like. And now we're going to do some cutting. So you'll have 2 squares in the middle, and you're just going to cut up on those score lines until you meet the other one so that you can separate the square from the other panels. And then I like to cut at a diagonal into the corner just to get a nice little tab shape. And I'm going to do that on the other side as well. This just makes it easier and neater to adhere our little box together. And once I have that cut, I'm going to get my score tape. I'm using a 1/4 inch. I think this size is perfect for nearly every project. And I'm going to apply 2 strips to my tabs once I fold them in. Then I'm going to fold in either of the panels, it doesn't matter, top or bottom. And I'm going to apply 3 strips of my tape to those. And then it's going to be time to just put this box together. So smoothing out my tape, then I will remove all of the backing on my tabs. And then to adhere the tabs in place, we're just going to fold them into the little panels that have adhesive on them. And we're going to make sure we have a nice clean edge and then just secure it down. Then we will remove the backing from the other panels and just flip those other sides over and adhere down. So you'll see here in a second what I mean by that. This is a very, very simple box, super easy to create. So you can see here I just line that up, making sure everything is nice and stuck down. I like to use my scoring tool to do that. And now it's ready to go. So I'm going to show you here how it's going to fit in the heart. So I like to keep the corners about 1/8 inch or so away from the edges of the heart, and then I will just place the other one on top. So I did some stitching off camera. I know this looks a little bit rough. That's because my bobbin ran out on my sewing machine with like the last 3 stitches, so I had to try to stitch over them perfectly again once I put my new bobbin in. So I'm just cutting off all my excess thread, and then it's going to be time to just put this whole project together. So I am going to apply some of my 1/4 inch double-sided tape to both long sides of my box. So you can use any adhesive that you want. Hot glue would be really quick for this, but it dries fast. So if you want to kind of move it around, you won't really have that option. Although with double-sided tape, once it's down too. Otherwise, you risk tearing the paper. And when you do put this top heart on the top of your box, try to take your time and measure it up nicely. You'll see later when I get to that part that mine was a tiny bit off and I wanted to fix it, but that tape was just stuck down and I just had to go with it. I didn't want to risk tearing the paper. So here I am just adding my last strip of double-sided tape. And then to make sure all the tape is smoothed out, I'm just going to use my scoring tool on the inside of my box to just press it down. And then we're going to start by adhering the box to the memory dex card itself. So I'm removing the backing of my tape, and I just showed you there that the side that the seam is on is going to be facing the back. So that little tab that we folded over, the way that that end of it is facing is going to be in the back, if that makes sense. So now I'm just taking my time and placing the box down, checking that it's nice and even, and then using my scoring tool to really adhere it. Then I'm going to remove the backing of the tape on the front of my box and add my heart. So again, just take your time when doing this. If you are using a wet glue, then you have more liberty to kind of move it around once it's actually on the box. But for any other adhesive, just take your time and make sure that it's really aligned. So you can see here, I was really trying to make sure it's good. I noticed it was a little bit off when looking at the front. You can see some of the back, and I was just going to take it off camera and fix it. And when I tried to pull up, I realized it was completely already stuck down. So I had to bypass that step, and I decided to just roll with it. And once the card is embellished, you can't even tell. So that is how you make this memory dex card. So like I said, if you have the means to create your own cut file image, then totally go for it. I don't know how to add a cut file to share it, so I would recommend just going this alternative route where you can just cut all your own pieces and add them together. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I will do my best to help. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you decide to make this project, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Bambi's Mail and use the hashtag Bambi's Birthday Bash. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Take care and happy crafting. Bye.